And now the time has come to introduce the next speaker, who's new for the audience of JTF, Fabrice Barbeau from Schaffner, who's going to talk about induction heating as applied to brazing and its applications. Dr. Barbeau is an expert in material chemistry with over 20 years' experience in the transformation of metals, with a specialization in brazing and soldering with laser. He has worked in different industries, from the automobile industry to the production of a special copper alloys up until top-level watchmaking industry. Now he's a chief technical hospital at Schaffner and Induction. The presentation by Dr. Barbeau provides us with a presentation of induction heating and its application for brazing and the potential development in the watchmaking and jewelry industries. Physical principles will be explained, as well as the advantages to be drawn from this technology, highlighting the key factors for success. And finally, certain applications will be shared. So over to you, Dr. Barbeau.
Last year, during my previous visit to the fair, I was surprised to see that induction heating is very poorly representative. Also, it has considerable industrial importance. My presentation is divided in 5 parts. I first introduce myself. After, I show you the requirement of final assembly for luxury parts. And after, I present you the induction effect, and finally merge the assembly for luxury parts and induction effect. At the end, you have to remember the highlights. So myself, first, I just apologize for my lovely French accent. Shortly, I have about 30 years of experience in welding and brazing, including 20 years in luxury sector. Now, I introduce you the well-known lobster clasp. On your left, the entry level with mechanical wing enclosure. The main problem is the gold alloys are very soft. So, over time, the ring open spontaneously, so it's not compliant for luxury. On the other hand, on the right, you can see a brazed lobster clasp with a continuous metal link. So it's as Roma, only the metallic link is eternal for wedding ring. Another way, two ways to create a completely metallic link is brazing and welding. For welding, only the laser is compliant with luxury requirement due to small pieces and very high pressures. For laser welding, laser ray melt locally the 2 different parts and create a definitive link. For brazing, the key point is to insert a low melting alloy, not too low, and during heating, the low melting alloy create a definitive link for assembly the 2 components. Sorry. I just insist on a wording. What we have to say is, what is it, solder paste or brazing paste? According to the standard, the term soldering, also called soft brazing, must be used for assembling with filler metal at a temperature under 450 degrees. For instance, when using tin-based filler metal for assembling electronic components, it is called soldering, and so the filler metal is called solder paste. The term brazing, also called hard brazing, must be used in the assembly is carried out at a temperature upper 450 degrees. It is always the case for luxury goods. Subsequently, only the term brazing past will be used. Welding is very interesting for very high mechanical strength, and it is possible to use a filler metal exactly with the same composition as the base metal. For brazing, the key point is the aesthetic of the joint. So, welding with a very, very local heating, and so it affected zone. Welding is very interesting for repairing. Brazing with the very high quality and the possibility to braze the finished part is perfect for first production. Brazing overall process. There is some subsequent operation, machining, deburring, washing, and you have to pre-assemble the components, and you have to dose the filler metal. The heating process of brazing can be performed by a furnace, torch, or induction. And the next step are finishing, grinding, something like that. The brazing filler metal requirements. The key points for filler metal is melting point, which should be as high as possible, but not too close to the component's melting point. Suitable to the application means the right metal, first the right metal fineness for 18 karat gold, the right color or the closest color is possible, and the mechanical requirement for luxury goods. What is brazing paste? A brazing paste is a mix of a flux, a binder, and a powder metal. The flux have a first shielding effect on the components, and when it completely melts, it creates a desoxidation in order to protect the filler metal. The binder allows the powder to be packaged and dispensed. So brazing paste is all-in-one, ready-to-use product. Some key points about the brazing paste. First, I insist on the color. On the right, you can see the syllab diagram that presents the three basis colors in a board. As you can see, 4N and 5N, pink and red golds, are on the left, and traditional alloy, using in bulk way, is quite far from the real color. A key point with brazing paste that you can create a very fine alloying that very close to the regular color of 4N and 5N. For the Hidebens binder, contain no water, so it's drying. It's not drying. The brazing paste is compatible with main heating process, such as induction or torch. And brazing paste is very easy and to dispense. I don't know how to start the video, so I just made a short overview of the video. Yes. So first, the binder evaporates. Second time, the flux is melt, and third time, it's not precisely, but the metal flow, as you can see. So wind evaporation, flux melting, and metal melting. Induction heating. So induction heating, it's Michael Faraday is credited of discover the induction effect, and the mathematical James Clerk Maxwell put the effect in equation. We have just to remember that the Maxwell's equation links magnetic field with electric field and electromagnetic force, and it can lead to the electromotive force. With the equation, you can calculate the power of induction effect and the thermal efficiency. But in all days life, what it means? Many people use induction for heating their morning coffee using Italian coffee maker. The well-known Massimo Bottura Italian chef used induction hob. And the induction effect is widely used, as they show in induction hob for cooking, but the capacitive touchscreens, sorry. The capacitive touchscreen use induction effect, electrical motor, power generator, or airport detector. Industry in a metallurgic plant, induction is used for quenching, forging, and melting. What is really the induction effect? When you move a magnet near a coil, it creates a current. And the reciprocity, when a current flows in a coil, it creates a magnetic field. If you have not a continuous current, but you're replacing by an alternative current, it creates an electric and magnetic fields. And reciprocity, electric and magnetic fields in metallic materials create alternative current and basis on eddy current. And heating of induction effect is done by the Joule effect on the eddy current. So, as it's shown on the induction hob, the induction coil in the induction hob creates a magnetic field. The cookware is based in iron materials, insensitive to induction field, so an eddy current is creating, and the heating effect appears. So thanks to this eddy current, it is possible to heat without contact a conductive piece. Electric and magnetic fields act at a distance. So first is the well-known effect is the magnetic levitation. It allows to melt an alloy without crucible. In the second, the greater the applied current, the greater the eddy current, resulting in a great temperature inside the product. The induction power only runs on conductive materials. So, for instance, the egg cooking is only on the metallic part. Due to the electric and magnetic fields do not penetrate in conductive materials, there is a skin effect, and the induction heating power is linked to the frequency. In real, the induction tools are quite easy to do. You can do it by your own, and the starting point is a single wire loop. And and in the technical terms, multiply the effect by n. As I explained, induction effect acts as a distance, but it decreases very quickly with the distance. So the coil have to be as close as possible to the heating zone. And the induction effect depends on the materials. As it shows, stainless steel, titanium, graphite are very good candidates for induction heating. The resistivity, the poor resistivity of gold and silver is a problem, but there is a very high density material, so it is possible to heat with a it is possible to heat gold and silver metal. In this table, I show you the PTFE, Teflon, quartz and alumina. They are widely used in holding and enclosure system for induction. Due to their very high electrical resistivity, they are not affected by the induction effect. So, induction is a very local heating. It is quite easy to make automatization, and it's a physical process control. Now, so the first tool for induction can be by do-it-yourself. It's easy with the hand. This is, as I explained, a very reproductive physical process, and it's a safe process. No flame, no gas. A brazing paste is all-in-one ready-to-use product and is very easy to dispense and dose. So the basis of the induction setup is a power generator, an induction coil, and a ceramic jig, and if you need, you can put shielding gas. And with equipment, so there is an AC power supply, alternative current supply, transformer, that's the box, the gray box. It is mainly, we add a pyrometer in order to follow the temperature, and you can see the workpiece in about 800 degrees. There is some key point to refer to the manufacturer about the AC alternative current frequency and the induction coil length. The induction brazing assembly start mainly with a holding tool or pre-assembled with induction, laser dot or resistivity pre-assembling. After, you have to dispense the brazing paste, put in the holding tool, heating and cooling. There is two ways of induction. Direct induction heating, you put the components closest to the induction coil or something like that, or indirect heating, and mainly you use graphite susceptor. And in production line, the basic setup, the setup starts from laboratory setup. You can full manage the equipment with a semi-automatic process, mainly based on rotary strand, and sometimes a full automatic process with belt conveyor. Some example of high-end luxury. Many bracelets clasps are brazed using induction heating to have only a local heating. The well-known lobster clasps sometimes there is a spring inside. There is very the spring is very sensitive to the temperature. So to avoid softening, induction heating is very interesting. The braceless ring is a good candidate for induction heating because it avoids to heat a second time the bracelet, and with the risk with apparition of orange peel or something like that. In high-end eyewear with full metallic frame, there is some pieces that are widely that is brazed using induction heating. In a watch clasp, the pin can be welded with induction heating to avoid to heat treat the clasp, and some high-end watchmaker insert some gold part in full stainless steel bracelet. The highlight. As I showed, the induction heating with brazing paste is very adapted to the luxury goods. It's give a very high quality process, and have all the requirement of high-end and luxury goods. But it's a cost-saving process. It reduces the number of operations. For instance, you don't have to add a subsequent workstation in order to fix the filler metal. You don't need to put some flux because in the brazing paste all the components are in. It's process will be safe without flame, and it expand assembly possibility. You can braze very close to precious stone and clasp string, for example, and it's compliant with metallurgical properties of material, such as materials that's sensitive to orange peel or cracking. Thank you very much.
Grazie al dottor Barbeau.
I'd like to thank Dr. Barbeau